Alright, today we're going to work on a parametric container, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Hopefully this will give you a little bit more insight into this idea of parametrics and parametric design, and this will go over some of the things we talked about in class. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want you to do is I want you to go to vector, point, and construct point. I want you to drag one of those, and I want you to also go to parameters or go to number slider, which is here, or you can double click and just type in, say, 10, and go ahead and Control C, Control V, and copy that. I can get rid of that one and just put another one down here. So we've got these points here. So you connect each of these to the XY coordinate and it gives you a point. Now if you look over here on the left, you can slide your sliders back and forth, and that changes different coordinates. So you can see like that. Okay, let's go ahead and make two more points. So we're going to highlight that, copy, paste, and then paste another one. Okay, so now we should have 3 points. The reason you can't see 3 points is because all these coordinates are the same. So if you move these over a little bit on each one, then you should be able to start to see the 3 points. So as you can see, there's 3 points that we just created. Alright, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to associate each of these 3 points with a construction plane. We're going to do that by going to vector, plane, and then we're going to drop in 3 XY planes, and go ahead and copy that, and then create 3 of these. So we're effectively going to connect these points each to a plane. So that means that whenever I move this, the plane moves with it. And for just the sake of clarity, I'm going to have this plane be at the top, since it's at the top of my definition, and I'm going to put this plane at the bottom, and then this plane is going to be somewhere halfway. So if I zoom in Rhino, you can see I've got 3 different planes, and each of these planes correspond to a point. Alright, everybody have that? So basically what we've done is we've created 3 points, connected those 3 points to 3 different planes, and so now when I move the point, the plane comes with it. Okay, next we're going to drop in from curve, primitive, circle. We're going to drop in a circle here, and then we're going to drop in a rectangle here, and then for the last one we're going to do that one a little bit differently, and I'll show you how that's going to work in a minute. But for now, I want you to go ahead and connect this plane to that circle, and as you can see, a circle just showed up in Rhino. You're going to connect this plane to there, and you can't see it because it's red, but if I highlight it, you still can't see it a whole lot, but there is a square here. Just it's lightly highlighted. And then for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to actually draw a curve. In this case, we're just going to draw a circle, and we're going to do something like that for now. Okay, and in this case, for the bottom of the parametric vase, we're going to actually go to parameters, geometry, curve, and we're going to grab a curve and just place that there for now. And we're going to set that one curve. So you're going to right click on the curve and go to set one curve, and then you're going to click on that curve in Rhino, and that transfers that circle over to this component. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to orient this circle to a particular plane. Okay, we're going to, and so by doing that, it's going to allow us to take an object that we have here, and now that object is going to be oriented onto that plane. So what we need to do is we need to find orient plane, which that usually goes hiding on me on occasion. I have to go look for it. It's not there. Let me see if I can just type it in. Orient. There it is. It's not orient plane, I'm sorry. It's just plain old orient. So if you type in, double click on the screen, type in OR, and it should pull up orient. We're going to orient a particular object to a different plane. So the way that's going to work is we're going to connect this geometry to G here, and we're going to connect, as you can see here if I zoom in, the B is the final plane, the A is the initial plane. In this case we don't have an initial plane, we just have the geometry. And so we're essentially going to connect this to B, which, as you can see over here on the left, it essentially oriented this curve to that plane there. Okay. Now, since this is the only curve that we're really concerned about, I can actually go through and I can turn off my original curve by hitting spacebar and then hiding it like this, so that the original curve is still there, but you just can't see the grasshopper curve. Okay, so basically now what we have is we've got a circle here, a rectangle here, and then a circle that we drew in down here. Now let's go ahead and define some things on the circle in the rectangle. Let's go ahead and give the circle a radius. Double click. Let's just enter 10. That allows us to give the circle a variable radius. Okay, as you can see there on the left. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to enter 10, copy that, and then 10 is going to be my x, and 10 is going to be my y. Now, when you look at this, it's off-centered. So regardless of the size that I make it, it ends up being off-centered, or it ends up being in the positive quadrant of that C-plane, and I don't want it to. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to actually detach these, back up a little bit, and I'm going to create a range for the x value and a range for the y value. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to Math, Domain, and I'm actually going to construct a domain, but it acts in some ways like a range. So I'm going to drop in a domain there, and then I'm going to copy that and drop in another one. And basically what I want to do is this is going to be my domain for x, and this is going to be this right here. Copy one of those. That is going to be my domain for x. So I'm kind of getting a little crowded, so I'm going to kind of move some of this down a little bit so I have a little bit more room to work. Okay, so in order for there to be a good domain, I'm going to actually make this slider go from -10, so -10 to 0. So this value goes from -10 to 0. I'm going to make this value here, double clicking on that, go from 0 to 10, which it already is. This value is going to go from -10 to 0, and then this one's already at 10. So basically all I'm going to do now is my range for A is -10 to 0, and then I guess I should say domain. My domain is from 0 to 10. So if I click, or if I link this up to A and this up to B, I now have a domain start and a domain end. Now, you'll see in a minute what that does for my values for X and Y. Let me just shrink this a little bit so I can show you what that range or domain essentially did. It allowed me to expand in the negative direction, and it allowed me to expand in the positive direction, both for the X and the Y. So here's the Y, and then here's that expansion. So essentially it allows me to do something like that. Now let's see, I don't really want to see this, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit spacebar and hide that. Let's see, that one, no. Let's see here. Okay, actually, I do want to see it. Just kidding. I'm going to go ahead and line that up there like that. And hit that 0, 0. So the bottom of this vase is going to be 0, 0 for now. Okay. Alright, so let me open this up a little bit so we can see it all. Okay, so what you should have right now is a series of 3 points followed by 3 construction planes that those points are being referenced to. The reason we have these points is because as I move this point, it moves the whole geometry with it, including the construction plane. So I can move that there, I can move this up and down, and I'm essentially building my parametric model. So off of that, I can then I created a circle with a specific radius, a square with dimensions in the X and the Y, and then in this case I actually referenced a curve from Rhino. So here's my curve here. As you can see, I'm referencing it. So that's being referenced from Rhino, and then it's being attached from this plane onto wherever this is at. Okay. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide these curves. Now I don't really want to look at these planes, so I'm going to hit spacebar and turn those off. So you hit that, you click on the plane, hit spacebar, and then the guy with the bandana over his eyes, you can just turn these planes off. Let's see here. Can turn that off. Can turn that off. Okay, actually I'm going to leave that on. There it goes. Okay, so there's my rhino, or my grasshopper circle. Okay, so this would be a good place for me to pause on this tutorial, and then I'm going to pick up on part 2 on the next one. So just be looking for my next one that's going to be coming out. I'm going to include both links so that you can find it.